Amula bayen yase, amuya ki bayen nilenio, bayen tinya zwelike, onya mufatama. Amulike santi e moi koma kolonio, bayele joya moye mese. Matia kasaija, nsre woya kimino mandi mbelelie. Santike bondoma, santike.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You all come to the 8th IPPU annual dinner. The annual dinner has become a traditional event of the Institute of Procurement Professionals of Uganda, and you are very much welcome. First of all, allow me to welcome the chief guest tonight, Mr. Martin Zuga. You are very much welcome. As it has already been mentioned, Mr. Martin Zuga is the Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority. It rhymes well with our theme tonight, to have you as our chief guest. You are very much welcome. Our keynote speaker, Dr. Peter Chimboa, you are very much welcome. Let me begin by congratulating the Institute of Procurement Professionals of Uganda for organizing this annual dinner. Today's theme of planning for a financially secure retirement is completely different from the kind of themes we have been having in the past dinners, which were procurement related. As we work on our formal employment and our day-to-day duties, we should also plan on how we shall transition to other careers when this formal employment is over. This is why we thought that this theme is relevant for this dinner. It is a pleasure to have another occasion where procurement professionals gather together to celebrate and network. This dinner gives us an opportunity to come together with the goal of cementing our unity in the procurement and supply chain profession. As we celebrate our success and joyfully welcome the promising opportunities ahead, we should always appreciate the achievements and challenges faced by the profession in our country and even beyond. For the procurement professionals and practitioners, IPPU is your home. You have an equal stake like every other member. Your full participation is very much welcome, especially so in the coming year. Our continuing professional development programs for the year 2019 have been very successful. Thank you for your full participation. The entities here, you have been sending your staff in IPPU activities, and we are very grateful. It is still a requirement that every IPPU member obtains a minimum of 20 CPD hours. Like every profession, we need continuing professional development. It is therefore a requirement that you as a procurement professional and or a practitioner, you attain a minimum of 20 CPD hours. And it is still going to continue to be. The CPDs are designed in such a way that they add value to you as a professional and or a practitioner. We endeavor to avail facilitators that have a vast experience worth sharing. The last CPD for this year will take place in Dubai from the 1st to the 5th of December this year. I know some of you have already registered, and I call upon those of you who have not yet booked a place, please to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, as we dine and party, I would like to urge the procurement and supply chain professionals to reflect on these three important items. One, procurement sustainability. Way back, man was essentially parasitic to nature. This was because the population of man was so small that it could do no harm to nature. The population of man has grown tremendously, and we know all supply chains are rooted into Mother Earth. We obtain all our resources from Mother Earth. It's high time we contributed to sustainability of nature. Otherwise, we are losing it as human beings. As procurement professionals and practitioners, you have an important tool that you can use, your bid document. You can use this to contribute to sustainability. Two, let's empower the vulnerable groups, youth, women, and other groups through preference and reservation schemes. And the third one, IPPU has got the numbers. Why don't we use the numbers to empower ourselves? You must have heard about the IPPU, the Uganda Procurement Circle. It is here. It is here. It's now a reality. Let's empower ourselves. We have the numbers. I would like to thank the current IPPU Council headed by the chairman, Mr. Patrick Kagaba. May you please stand up for recognition. The current council, please stand up for recognition. Current council, please stand up for recognition. Thank you very much. I know we shall have another moment in the council. Lastly and not least, I would like, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you the co-sponsors of the dinner of the 8th IPPU Annual Dinner 2019. Mark East Africa. This is the first time you are co-sponsoring the IPPU Annual Dinner. May you please come forward. Mark East Africa. As they come forward, can we give them a round of applause? Uganda Airlines, the new kid on the block. Uganda Airlines, may you please come forward? Mark East Africa is a platinum sponsor. Uganda Airlines is a platinum sponsor. And there is another new kid on the block, Mantra Motorbike East Africa Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are coming in, you saw some motorbikes there. They are to be worn tonight. Please make your homework. Mantra Motorbike, please come forward. A round of applause as they come. Thank you, please. Hosted group, this is the third time they are sponsoring dinner in a row. Hosted group, please come forward. I wish we could clap for them the more. And lastly, but not least, Kemat Uganda Limited is also a co-sponsor for this dinner. May you also please come forward. Mr. Guest of Honor, this dinner has been made possible by these sponsors, and I request the audience to give them a very hearty round of applause. May I request you, Mr. Guest of Honor, to allow us to have a photo, to take a photo with these sponsors. Mr. Photographer arranged us in a way that befits to see that everybody is in this photo. Ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for listening to me. My name is David Kalitan Samba. I'm the Executive Secretary. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're very much welcome. Right about now, we're going to have our keynote address, and the person I'm going to introduce who's going to give us the keynote address is a leadership developer. He is an author. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a corporate board member and an advisor to several boards. Allow me to make welcome to none other than Dr. Peter Chimbo Piki.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome our chief guest, Mr. Martin Nshubuga, who personifies even the concept of retirement. He is the most important person and who represents this very important subject. Now, one thing I would like to apologize for, and right from the beginning, is that we are going to be very fast because time has gone. It's going to be a presentation. Now, I'm blocked, I can't see you, unfortunately. So there will be a presentation. I think David will share this presentation and you will reflect on it because there are references in this presentation which you need to think about. Why? Because this subject is not an event, it's a process, it's a way of thinking. Retirement is a concept which is very much treasured by human beings. Of all other creatures God created, no creature talks about retirement. And I'm just wondering whether we should be talking about it. I don't know whether any one of you has ever seen a buffalo in retirement, or a snake that has gone into retirement, or any one of you can put up your hand and tell me you have seen a lion that is in retirement. Human beings are not supposed to retire. The word retirement itself is a misnomer. Retirement to most of us is supposed to be career transition. Moving from one career to another. Many of you are working in government, but there are also those of you who are in formal employment. But some of you probably have not yet discovered your purpose in life. And it's very possible that after your tour of duty, that's when you will do so. So the retirement and growing old is the law of nature and the will of God. But the worst thing that can happen is one, you can have no money when you are young. But it's very tragic for you not to have money in your old age. So it's very normal not to have money. Why is this subject important? Because way back about 15 years ago, 16 years ago, we were working with a group of United Nations, and this is what we found in the public service. government had, they used the word retrenchment, and retired many civil servants, about 150 to 200,000 civil servants. Uganda's public service force was 360,000. 200 of them, according to the World Bank, and other development partners were asked to go home. 38% of them died within the first 5 years. About 40% were jobless, and of course with the time, they had to follow the other 38%. Working with the Retirement Benefits Authority in Nairobi about 10 years ago, that was in 2010, the statistics were quite revealing. They found that 60% of the government servants who were due for retirement in 10 years, 60% of them were not ready. And we're going to find out why. About 75% of the young people in Kenya do not care about old people. That's quite interesting. What does it mean now? Is that there is need to prepare. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. I like Ugandans because they have such a sense of exuberance and self-confidence, especially with the degrees and papers and so on. And of course even positions too. Good guys. A man called Marcelo Gaidani, and I think I've mentioned him, and you have to research him. He's the vice president of the World Bank African region, and he's in charge of poverty eradication. Came up with a term called the new poor. We don't know the old poor. The old poor are in Isenyi, they're in, I don't know whether Katanga still exists, they're in Mombasa, they're in Namungo. These are the traditional old poor. Professor Marcelo Gaidari said that in Africa, especially in Uganda, there is a new class called the new poor. These are guys who have been top civil servants in the government with a very nice residential accommodation in Kololo, Nakuru, Lugoa, or Lugolobi, and they are asked to retire. They go to a private bungalow in Wewere or Cheka, and this is what you see when you go there. According to the UN, a bungalow of middle class must have approximately 36 bulbs and about 6 to 10 taps inside. But this is what you see. It's a bungalow, all right? A large sitting room, and all the chairs are old, and the curtains are sagging, including the chairs. A large fridge without anything. And a cooker that is decommissioned. It's not working anymore. There is a vehicle in the courtyard, there are no tires. Everybody has a mobile phone, there is no airtime. The husband has retired, and the children are 3 who have graduated from Makerere, and they're all jobless, but they're at home. And they all have mobile phones, and they're dating. The wife has always been a housewife. The taps which are supposed to be 6 to 10, there is only one, and it's outside the house. So you wait water outside and come in. The bulbs are 2. One is in the corridor to light the rooms, and the other bulb is on the veranda. Yeah. The man packed up, he's got about 15 suits, like the ones you are wearing now. But all of them are old. The pairs of shoes are 10, all of them are old. Descending into irrelevance. Slowly descending into irrelevance. What happens? Or what has happened? The issue is, and I want to mention to you, is about money. It's about an investment strategy. It's about money you're keeping. There are rules. If I use the slides I did, we are going to take a bit of time. I want us to look at number one. I don't know whether you can see. It's a model it's a mindset model. Many of us have worked in institutions. I've worked in the government of Kenya, I've worked in the government of Uganda, I've worked for the UN, I did time in the World Bank, I'm private consultant. But the issue is, when you work in some of these places, there is something called opium. You drive the government vehicle, which you call yours. When you park outside there, and it's probably written on Ministry of Finance, and you tell me what is parked outside. Did you see my car? I said, which car? And then you can see Ministry of Finance. And you say, I've got an office, I want to be my office, and we end up in Ministry of Finance. Now, the next called self-deceit, and self-deceit, what you call denial. When the time comes, you can choose. You can decide on your own whether you are going to accept it and move on if you are prepared, or you are going to say, no, it's permanent and pensionable by law. And those of you who are seated here and you have got letters which show that you are permanent and pensionable, no, please return the letter on Monday. Because there's nothing like that. The future of work will not guarantee that. Good guys, the mindset rolls through what Professor Elizabeth Kubra says, denial. You refuse to accept reality, and you are moving. And I said, then this descends into something else. You have chosen anger. Denial brings anger. You get annoyed, and then bargaining is desperation. You don't know where you are going to get money from your pockets. And now bargaining is desperation. And this is when you fight your way to battle. Write to IPPU, write to military intelligence, write to the newspapers, anonymous letters. You go to church to fast and appeal to God to do something. Either appeal to some supervisor somewhere where you work, or you go to witchcraft. Whichever comes first is for you. The next point here, where most Ugandan civil servants die, is called depression. That is excessive pressure beyond your capacity to cope. Most civil servants stay at the bottom there. 38% of civil servants were lost within 5 years. And now, by grace of God, you can accept reality and recover. This is a much tortuous and long journey. That you can accept reality and move on. Accepting reality is predicated on preparation. Or you prepare somehow. Number one, you do the following, and I look there. Number one, you have a conversation with your spouse at least 6 hours of the week, talking about saving, spending, debt management, and investment. 6 hours of the week. I don't want you to go home now and say there was a man called PK. We just been with a man called PK. He says you must spend 6 hours talking about money. How much is it here? 6 hours. No, that is silly. You spend at least 6 hours and spread them out in the week, discussing how we are going to spend money. Discussing number one. Number two, the 80% rule. You must have savings that will enable you to generate income amounting to at least 80% of your monthly income right now. Number three, you need to work out what we call the 10% principle. I think this is what the GFC calls it. GFC has a lot of books and papers on this, especially retirement management. 10% principle means, other people call it 50%, is that the money that you earn, say 2 million, automatically 1 million doesn't belong to you. Why? Because there's 50% that's going somewhere. The first 10% goes to God. Or Zakah. The Christians call it tithe. So you can't go for the money you pay. Now, if you are in witchcraft, the percentage can be high. I don't know the doctrine in witchcraft. The next 10% is money that you save in a circle in an investment club. In Nairobi, you can't have a large grouping like this without a business case. But there has to be a business case you build here. When you are so many like this, professionals as you are, you build a business case for the future. Half of Nairobi is owned by circles. The entire urban transport system in Nairobi is owned by circles. So you build an investment club tonight and just don't eat. The next is money for the circle, but also what we call CIF. CIF is called Cost Inflation Fund. Cost Inflation Fund means, or college inflation fund. This is about the future of your children. The biggest test of a parent is not in raising children taking them to private school, secondary school. You right now as procurement people, you can down your kids and take them for swimming, enjoying and whatever. The biggest challenge of a parent is transitioning from S6 to university. The children you are not going to have command over them in terms of choosing which university they are going to go to. They will not. They will take it automatically that from this Bulo, I'm going to Brisbane, I'm going to R, I'm going to Strathclyde, I'm going to Manchester. And they said, Mommy, the phone is here, can I fill in the application form, and I press the button for admission. They need about £20,000 as the admission fee for the first semester. Good guys, the biggest torment and agony for a parent is transition. Then talk about the next thing that we have to do with the 10%. 10% must also look at what we call business fund. The fund that will help you and will make you look good before the bankers so that you can start generating income before you even retire. Let me talk about something else. We need to do some calculation. How much money, what value, what pot of gold you need before you retire? Calculate this. 1/10 of your annual income gross. 1/10 of your annual income gross times your current age will give you an idea of how much you must invest. Next point is putting together in your discussion with your spouse an investment, a set of investment objectives. We all invest for two reasons. We want a return, but we also have to manage the risk. We draw up an objective. If you have somewhere to write or you don't have anywhere to write, you can think through the grow model. How are we going to grow beyond retirement? And this is more about finances. You see, without money, you are technically dead. You are a moving corpse. Any broke person is dead and value is great. But the value has been great. When you don't have money, and please don't tell me this rubbish, that money is not everything. Money is everything. And every point you earn, you thank God and you have to grow it. Now, I want us to look at the formula that I've given you. I would also like you to keep a reserve fund, which is supposed to be 8 months of your consolidated pay. 8 months consolidated pay should be in the reserve fund. But remember, you have to generate 80% of your monthly income from alternative sources. Business is money made without you being there. Just about like investment. Investment is long-term income. So how do we build investment? One, we build objectives. Number two, we have to look at this word grow. Grow means G, starting with G. What are your goals? What kind of life do you want to live? Ask yourself sensible questions. If you don't ask yourself sensible questions, the answers will also be nonsensical. So what kind of life do you want to live? How do you want to grow? Remember one thing, your children will not look after you. Right now for us, we are looking after our parents. We are the last generation to look after our parents. Your children will not. I want you to research what we call generational kinetics. Go and Google that. You will see that the next generation and the generation below it will have a different idea of what old people are all about. So right now for you, can look after your parents, but don't expect that from them. They are going to buy a robot and place it in your room to look after you, to remind you of the medicine you have to take, to give you food, and also to report on your condition to your child. Because when you are sick like Christmas time, you are in Kitunga or you are in Masaka, you are sick, your child will be able to move to take his girlfriend for money. So you can't start coffee and say there is money coming. There's something else also. When you talk about G, you agree to live with your financial procurement. You are not going to steal. When I started consultants, I saw very many of my friends who are stolen. And some of them told me, these things are talking about PK. You're just theorizing. I have this 500 million, in a fixed deposit, I have built these houses and so on. So I told you, look here, you are going to lose everything. If you don't lose it before you die, immediately after you die, they are going to go. That's the way it is. It's a divine principle. So even if you're a government guy and you steal, remember one thing, and take it from the right, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. If you steal. That's how it works. So what are your goals? What are goals going to be like? What kind of life do you want to live? Now let's look at the reality. Reality are the circumstances. How much contribution are you making in terms of savings? How much time are you giving? How many investment clubs do you belong to? Yeah, you look at another reality. Have you invested in areas, if you understand the fees, the taxes, and regulatory guidelines of that investment, especially the assets you are picking, because there are very many asset classes. So in your investment again, is the portfolio growing? What are the trends? What are the implications in the market? Now we need to find that out. And look at the reality, the cultural tax. In Uganda, we've got something they don't have in other countries. We have a culture tax. Culture tax means what? You are looking after so many people and you are under obligation to support them. I want to look at something else. There is also what they call in Uganda, I think we call it a primitivity tax. Why? If you look at the introduction ceremonies and weddings that we are having, they are showing nothing else that Ugandans have an inferiority complex. They are trying to prove a point. So it's showing off. Most of these natural functions are showing off. A simple procurement officer in the Ministry of Works, where you get, and you are about age 35, where you get 50 million to share out your introduction. And anytime Ministry of Works and Restructuring, where do you get 80 million to share out at the wedding? And you hire a limo, 5 limos, and you're going to be thrown out at 5 p.m. They say we are taking back the limos. Why do you confuse yourself? This is the reality. In my home where I come from, in my clan, when there is an introduction ceremony, we have got rules. The introduction ceremony takes place on Saturday at 12:30. You must come 7 people, no more. And when you arrive, we have 4 or 5 questions to ask you. Number 1, where is the certificate of the kingdom? Because I come from Central. Number 2, we want to see a land title in your 2 names, John and Mary. Because you are dating, you have thought about building a financial pyramid for the future. Where is the title? Unincuban, clean title. Number 3, we want the plan for this title. When are you building? What kind of structure? When are you starting? What material? When are you finishing? And so on. The next one is the gift. I come from a clan with very many Muslims. If one of them is reading, you give us a Quran. If it's a Christian like me, you give us a Bible. And last question is, do you belong to a circle? Do you belong to an investment club? Show us the evidence. We cannot allow our daughter to fall into the seductive embrace of poverty or mediocrity. We want to be sure that you have a future based on savings and investment. Then we are done. We go for dinner, or rather we go for lunch in the gardens. By 4 p.m. we must be out. No alcohol served. Why? Because in the whole of Africa, introduction ceremony is a secret. We are welcoming you, and we are also trying to assess the fortunes of the future. What is the return? What are the risks? That's what investment is based on. When it comes to wedding, there are only 6 days of the year when my relatives are allowed to wed. Number 1, eve of New Year's Day, itself. Eve of Easter Monday. Eve of Christmas or Boxing Day. Why? We send out 500 cards to people. How many people will be in Kampala at 10 a.m. on the 26th of December, Boxing Day? How many will be in Kampala? So 500 are reduced to 40. We go to church, we finish, we go to church for lunch, and that's it. By the time you wake up from your blockage on Christmas, we are finished. Without course.